Karmelo Anthony is serving a 35-year sentence for Austin Metcalf's murder. But crowds gathered outside the Collin County courthouse today calling for a retrial.
That will be debated in court tomorrow. But tonight, the judge who presided over Anthony's trial is being recused.
Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez shares why and what it means for Anthony's appeal.
Karmelo Anthony's defense team walked out of court with a win. A visiting judge removed Judge John Roach off this case. The question isn't whether or not Roach was unfair, but he said whether or not someone looking from the outside in could question Roach's impartiality. Supporters poured out of the courthouse cheering and gathered on the steps chanting Karmelo Anthony's name.
We are not insensitive to the fact that a life was lost, but we also don't believe that two lives should be lost through injustice.
Pastor Freddie Haynes brought a busload of supporters from Friendship West Baptist Church. Inside court, Anthony's attorneys argued Judge John Roach could no longer appear fair and impartial. They focused on an interview Roach gave WFAA's Jobin Puneker just 2 days after the verdict, saying the trial was fair and the jury got it right.
For me, that was shocking. As a layperson, I think that he jumped the gun.
The defense also raised questions about restrictions on courtroom access and agreements made during the trial that were never put on the record. The visiting judge said he was not finding that Roach had been unfair. Instead, he said the issue was how it could look to a reasonable person on the outside.
It was more an idea that giving the interview after the fact made an outsider or a reasonable third party look at the process and think it could have been not as fair and impartial as the law requires.
Legal expert Todd Shapiro calls it a victory for Anthony's supporters, but says it does not change his conviction.
That's probably the first victory they've had in this case since it started, but it doesn't really change the landscape of what's next.
And what's next comes Thursday. Anthony's new attorneys will ask a new judge for a new trial.
I think that the law will require a new trial based on the facts that we have discovered so far.
That new judge will hear the evidence and decide whether Anthony's attorneys can prove there were problems serious enough that he did not get a fair trial the first time around. In Collin County, I'm Rebecca Lopez.